Hey guys, this is English Shooting. I'm Callum. Welcome back to the channel and let's get into the video. After recently reviewing the MRO and having previously reviewed the MRO HD, I thought, well, good things come in threes, and we'd talk about the MRO green dot, the other option in the MRO lineup. If you want a more in-depth review of the MRO in general, then please go and click on the link that will appear above to see my full review of this optic. What I'm going to be looking at is purely the difference between the red version and the green version. Whilst on the face of it, it would seem pretty obvious. One has a red dot, one has a green dot. There are actually some bigger differences that you wouldn't initially see online. And I'm going to talk about which one for me and in general I think is the one to go for, specifically for mini rifle, but where other colors may be more suited. So the optic on my competition rifle is the red dot MRO, an optic that I'm very familiar with now, having run one on various different rifles over the past couple of years. But Trijicon threw a spanner in the works, not only with their MRO HD, which personally I prefer the standard MRO, but with this new green dot. It even has on the top of it, from the packaging, new green dot. So why would you want to go for the green? Now, for some people's eyes, you may pick up a green dot better. That might just be your natural preference, but it could also matter on the terrain and the light that you are shooting predominantly in. Now, from my initial impression, putting the red dot on an IPSC target and a green dot on an IPSC target, the red is far more prominent. Something I also noticed between the two is that at the lower light settings, so around the 3 mark, which is what I would use with the red dot at longer distances, just to get that extra crispness to be able to make out the different zones on the target, the green dot does disappear a lot quicker. The red certainly seems to be more prominent and brighter and allows you to go to those lower levels without losing the dot completely. The big difference though, and this really did surprise me, you can see it straight away looking at the front of the optic, and that is the coating that they've used and also the tint. Now, obviously the red dot has a much redder tint and the green dot has a more green tint, but it's a lot more subtle on the green dot. And when you end up putting them side by side and looking through them, it actually shows that the red has quite a blue tinge. Now, this is something that I had seen previously using the Trijicon, the fake Chinese-made Trijicon MRO, which was like a deep ocean blue. It really did reflect blue onto the rifle that you'd put it on. And whilst the genuine MRO has a slight bit of blue, compared to the fake, it was really not noticeable. When you put it side by side with this new green dot, it makes the green look absolutely crystal clear. Now that could be a big consideration. It's not something I've actually noticed myself using the red MRO in competition and training. It certainly hasn't interfered or distracted me, but certainly when you put them side by side, it seems that the green is just a clearer, less overall distorted optic. Now, that might have something to do with the fact that the green dot is about 100 pounds more than the red. The red dot sits at about 466 pounds and the green dot is at 564. So about around 100 quid difference. We have been told that the prices will be increasing due to the difference with the dollar and the pound. That's not yet been confirmed, but it's going to be around about still £100 difference. I couldn't necessarily understand straight away why just changing the dot to green would incur a £100 penalty. It seemed like a little bit of maybe a marketing ploy or a bit of a money grab in that respect. But seeing as the optic is undeniably clearer and crisper without that blue slight tinge, perhaps that's where the additional £100 is being spent on better coating, maybe even better glass quality. Overall, I don't think it's going to be something that's going to sway me from the red dot. For the shooting that I do, and certainly where I do it, it's usually very luscious green, again shooting on those brown IPSC targets or white IPSC targets, depending on how the match is set up. And personally, I prefer how the red presents itself. I prefer how low I can go on that setting with a crisp dot and still see that red dot. Shooting within quite the luscious green backdrops that we so often have here within the UK, I think there's a danger that you could end up losing the green dot when searching for that target. If your backdrop is green and you're transitioning between targets, you may lose it until it actually appears on the target. That could be quite difficult and actually slow you down within your shooting. Perhaps if you're shooting out in concrete bays and you've got concrete as a backdrop, or maybe you're out in SUPs in Utah and everything is brown, perhaps the green in that environment is going to be more beneficial than the red. Perhaps the red could get lost in the backdrop if you have a slightly reddish earth. So it may be considering that if you are shooting around the world, if you're going to different ranges with different backdrops, you could potentially benefit from having even both. A bit of an expensive option, but that could make the difference. Just like people change the lenses in their glasses, it could offer some performance gains to change your optic. These do come with the option of a quick detach mount as well, which will hold zero. So you put a QD on your green, you put a QD on your red, and you could, depending on the lighting conditions or the backdrop or the range that you're shooting on that day, you could, whilst maintaining zero, QD the optics off and on, and have the optimum setup for your environment. But overall, the biggest takeaway for me, and something that I really didn't expect, is that the clarity of the green is that much better. It is instantly noticeable, not even marginal. So something that you might want to be considering. Am I going to switch away from the red? Again, no. I think for where I shoot predominantly, what I'm shooting at, it's the perfect solution. Still more than happy with it, and ultimately for IPSC mini rifle, I think it's one of the best setups you can get. But I always like looking at different options and certainly trying to give as best consumer advice out there for people. And I think it's important that you potentially consider the green or the red. There's so many other factors. Everybody has their own preferences. And the fact that you do have these two choices, I want to be able to lay that out in front of you, give you my feedback and what I've found with both, and hopefully help you make the best decision for your own setup. If you do have any more questions or there's anything you want to say, please use the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please don't forget to hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and of course, as always, guys, I hope to see you soon.
Film it, but it's 4K, so. Oh my god, that's perfect. I'm gonna just zoom out a bit.